when The Wire ended in 2008, I'm thinking Hollywood. I'm like, yeah, this is it. And, I'm on a big, and I'm getting recognized all across the country. When it ended in 2008, I didn't work. Some of the people in Hollywood, producers, writers, managers, they didn't know who I was. It was kind of confusing in a way. Like I was just I'm on a wire, not even understanding good things come to an end.
What's up, family? Welcome to the Traffic Sales and Profits Show. I'm your host, Lamar Tyler, and if you're a Black entrepreneur looking to grow and scale your company or looking for keys to unlock wealth, you're in the right space. And today I got my brother, right, Mr. Tray Chaney.
What's up, man?
Mr. Why'd You Kill Wallace?
Oh,
Mr.
my God.
Poot
Yeah.
from The Wire. Mr.
Yeah.
Kendrick from Saints and Sinners.
Yeah, man.
Mr.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can tell you, Mr., because the dude got projects on deck.
Yeah, man.
And today, you know what? Today's episode is special.
Mm-hmm.
I'm calling this one, Teach Me How to Hustle. Because over the years, Trey, we did some hustling together to make some things happen. So I want to talk about that. I want to talk about your story.
Mm-hmm.
I want to talk about the entertainment business.
Yeah, most definitely.
And everything, man. But thank you for coming.
Nah, man, I'm honored to be here. Man. When I got the call, really, I didn't even need a call. When I seen you and you said, man, I need you to pull up, I said, I'm coming. We family, man. We brothers. So, I mean, I couldn't say no to this,
All right. Now, for the people that may not know you, or maybe they know you and say, hey, maybe if they're not listening, just audio, and they watch the video, say, hey, this guy looks familiar, right?
Yeah.
Tell them some of the places they may have seen you.
Well, first of all, man, one of the number one places that people come up to me all the time and speak about is me playing the character Poot on the HBO series The Wire. So just to make a long story short, coming into this business at a very young age, 8 years old, starting off as a hip hop artist, dancer, and just, continuing to pursue my dreams in that field all the way up until, I want to say 18, 19 years old, when I was discovered at the Lincoln Theater in Washington, D.C., which is where we from, DMV. Right. And a woman by the name of Linda Townsend, she came up to me after winning at the Lincoln Theater first place. She said, I want to submit you for acting roles because I can see that you're not shy or timid. You get up there on stage, you rapping, which means you can remember lines in the script.
Right.
So a lot of people may not know the first project that Linda Townsend submitted me for back in 2001 was the HBO series The Wire. So I originally went in with casting director Pat Moran, who's from Baltimore, to read for the character Weebay. You know what I'm saying?
Really?
So I got to shout out my man Hassan Johnson, who played Weebay. But I originally go in to read for Weebay, and I remember when I walked in, I didn't know, I was so green to auditioning, because I had took drama in high school, but this was the real deal. And walking in, I remember Pat Moran saying Slate. And I'm like, what is that? She like, no, I need your name, your first and last name, your height, where you from. So I got the slate down. She told me to do the profile, where you got to turn to the side so they can get the whole profile. And then she said, go ahead and, recite the monologue. So I recited the monologue. It was a monologue, a code read. And I remember Pat telling me, she's like, I can tell you're not too familiar with this side of the acting world. This is auditioning, just do it one more time, be comfortable. And I did it again. Man, I left. I get a call back. For anybody that's, in this acting, television, film world, a call back is when you may not necessarily have the job, but the directors, the producers, the writers are interested. So I got a call back for Weebay, probably 2 weeks later. So I go back, and I remember all of this like it was yesterday. This was October of 2001. Mm-hmm. So I get a call back, and when I go back in there, I'm looking at David Simon, the creator, Nina Noble, Robert Cosbury, rest in peace to Robert Cosbury, just executives from HBO. And I'm gonna be honest, man, when I walked in there, I was nervous. I was like, yeah, I don't know what this is about, but I'm gonna just go ahead and do my best. They had me recite the monologue again. Did it, fumbled over some words, told them, I said, this is new to me, and can y'all please let me do it again? Like, I think I fumbled over some words. And they just was staring at me like, yeah, do it again, but this time get it right. That's exactly
Wow.
what they said.
Pressure.
Pressure. So through the grace of God, I went in there and I read that joint, man. I felt like I aced it, but when I left out of the room, I'm like, I know I probably don't got this. I just felt, and I
Because
don't
again,
know,
this is just your first.
this is my first.
This is your first time out the gate,
yeah.
and you at this point, you already know it's a show for HBO, or do they just you know the show, but you don't know where it's going?
It's a pilot for HBO.
Just a pilot, okay.
So it's almost like with the pilot, you don't even know if this thing,
if it's going to get picked up,
if it's going to get picked up or not.
Right.
So I leave out, and I remember 3 weeks later. This was all in the month of October of 2001. My management at the time, Linda Townsend, she called. She said, "Hey Tray, so you didn't book the role of Weebay?" I'm like, "Oh, all right, yeah, I knew I was." She said, "But you booked the role of Poot, this character named Malik Poot Carr." So I'm like, "Oh, all right." So they must have seen something else in me and gave me another role.
Yeah.
She said, "Yeah, you're only supposed to be in like the first 2 episodes in the first season pilot, meaning it's still not picked up." So I remember, getting the schedule, going on set in Baltimore, Maryland, the roughest part of Baltimore. You know what I'm saying? And I got a trailer, and I'm like, oh, they like, yeah, this your trailer. This where you go in, hair and makeup. And I'm like, hair and makeup. But I was so green to it all, man. And but it was like the best experience, the best learning experience for me, because being on that show and only supposed to be in the first 2 episodes, it ended up turning into 5 seasons. This big recurring character, and being around actors such as Michael B. Jordan, the early days, Idris Elba, and some
iconic cats, right? Iconic, so many iconic.
Most definitely, Wendell Pierce, Wood Harris. You know what I'm saying? Wood Harris, and being around them and kind of like just being a sponge, even while I was on set, and asking as many questions as I could all the time, and them just being my brothers and just sharing the information and sharing the knowledge with me. The Wire, those were like some of the best years of my life. We did that from 2002 to 2008. So I didn't understand what I was on until maybe after the 5th or 6th episode. And mind you, I was just turning 21. So I had never experienced appearances or clubs or traveling or paid gigs to just show up and just sit there and not do nothing but just be seen by an audience. And I want to say like around the 5th episode in the first season is when I started getting recognized. Like anytime I step foot outside at a mall or a gas station, are you the dude from The Wire? And I'm like, oh yeah, because I still wasn't used to it, but it just shaped me as an actor, as an artist. And like I said, man, 5 seasons from 2002 to 2008. We talking about it 20 years later.
And correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
The only character, right, to last all 5 seasons?
Yep. One of the only ones, other than the cops and stuff like that. But
yeah,
the only character that was in the street that changed his life around, watched his friends get killed, had to kill one of his friends off, watched his friends get locked up. My story arc was what a lot of brothers can relate to. A lot of brothers and sisters around the world can relate to, because I went from, I turned the negative into a positive. It shows me getting out the game, getting a regular 9-to-5 job, and man, I just, I'm grateful and thankful that I was able to last all 5 seasons. I'm gonna tell you, after we killed Michael B. Jordan's character Wallace, I thought I was done after that.
Because that's my next question.
Yeah,
because
I was finished.
That was my next question I was about to get to.
Yeah.
Because as you're going through the seasons, and you seeing the main characters,
I'm seeing them drop. I'm seeing them fall.
Get killed off here and there, right? So you seeing from the highest, like from the corner boys to the top of the organization, cats like getting removed from the show.
Yeah.
Are you every season as you start to open the script like, man, What's coming?
You just like showed me what I would do. I would look at the script and be like, I know I'm gonna get killed. Like I mean, we killed Michael B. Jordan. Then when I seen D'Angelo die, I'm like, okay. Then Idris Elba. I mean, and I'm going through the seasons, so I'm like, they going off my character. I was just kind of like preparing, but and that's another thing, Lamar. They didn't tell us beforehand. It was just like you just did. When we get the script, that's when you know.
And you get the script for the whole season, or just
you get the script episode by episode. Wow. So you don't know.
So you don't even know. We're in season 4.
Yeah, they might give you 2 scripts. All right, like if you in whatever season, the first and second script.
So you still don't know if I'm making it to the end of the season. You could be halfway through and still not know.
You just don't know.
You 2 episodes away from the end.
You just don't know. I just didn't know. And that's just like even when we had to do the scene where we had to kick it with Michael B. Jordan all the way up into his death, when we had to do that crazy scene, he didn't know. Like when you get the script, it's like such and such dies. And you like, what? Like sometimes we would get the script sitting in our trailer. Like before we getting ready to shoot, maybe for that week. One of the other iconic scenes for me was when Snoop shot at me on a motorcycle. So when I'm reading that, I'm like, okay, she shoots at Poot, and Poot falls on the ground and he's bleeding. I think that was the only. I think I read it up into him laying out on the ground bleeding, and I was like, oh, that was it. And then they're like, nah, you don't die. You get up. You brush the blood off, or it's not even your blood; it's your friend's blood. So I'm like, oh wow.
That's a lot of pressure for a job, man. Man, somebody go to their regular job every week, and you like, man, you reading your fate if you gonna work here or not.
I'm telling
2
you,
weeks
man,
for the next 2 weeks.
And that's how we look at it. Because if you think about it, for an actor, it's a blessing to be in this business and work. When you get a script for a movie or a television show, once that Jones say you killed off, you gotta find the next job.
Well, that's how I was gonna ask too. Your first, show that you ever auditioned for turns out to be, with some regard, as the best show in television history.
Right.
Right? The best show in television history.
Yeah.
Where, like you said, 20 plus years later, people still recognize you from a role.
Yeah.
Well, like, you like grown man out here now. You know what I'm saying?
20 years later.
You was like a young cat. But now they still recognize you. They still quoting, people walk up to you with quotes from the show.
All the time. World going one way, people another. The global warming. All of my quotes, and you know what I'm saying, me telling Bodie, we getting old. And I mean, just iconic lines,
Let me ask you this. Starting out at such a high level, did that taint your view of how easy it would be going forward?
What it did, and this is a crazy story and moment for me, because when The Wire ended in 2008, I'm thinking Hollywood. I'm like, yeah, this is it. I'm on a big, and I'm getting recognized all across the country, around the world. People love the show so much. From when it ended in 2008, I didn't work. I would go on little auditions, not book it. Some of the people in Hollywood, producers, writers, managers, they didn't know who I was. So it was kind of confusing in a way. Like, okay, well, I was just I'm on The Wire. Not even understanding that, okay, good things come to an end. Yeah. Now it's time to create another good thing, or get another job. I'm thinking that something was just going to be handed to me after The Wire. I'm like, yeah, this is it. I'm getting ready to be a big star. I'm getting ready. Man, that money run out. You know what I'm saying? Money run out. I had to get a job. You know what I'm saying? So it was a lot of stuff once it ended in 2008 that I had to understand. And it was during those moments where I said, is this entertainment industry and acting, is this something that I really want to do? And once I really locked my mind, it's okay. It's just time to step back a little bit and regroup I'm gonna still keep auditioning, but now it's time to start thinking about how to remain relevant. What else do I need to do? Because Hollywood, they not knocking on my door no more. You know, they wasn't knocking on my door anyway. At the time, me and Linda Townsend had parted ways, because the contract was up. So it's like she going her way, I'm going my way. And from 2008, like I said, when it ended in 2010, I'm talking no work in television or film. So I said, now it's time to use The Wire as a stepping stone. People know who I am. People recognize me. I know other people with cameras. I know other actors, writers. Now it's time to start creating my own. And a lot of Hollywood celebrities or stars, which is what I'm getting ready to speak about, what I did, would not have done this. So when I say create my own, I started linking up with local DMV filmmakers, writers, producers, actors, and we started shooting our own content. And I stood on the streets of Washington, D.C., 12th and F, near the Warner Building, from 2010 to 2015.
I remember this.
And sold merch out the trunk of my car. And during that time, it was just something, and I got to give a lot of credit to my brother Torrance Hall. You know Torrance, that came out with the video. Torrance was the one in 2010, because like I said, after that 2 year of not getting no work, I was still just trying to figure things out.
And at the same time, you seeing other people get work.
I'm saying.
So it ain't like, oh, this is just normal and everybody going through it.
Nah, I was seeing other people.
It's literally, some people going through it, and then some people are like, boom, just like taking off.
Out the gate. So with me coming to that realization and decision to create my own, and again, Torrance Hall was the one, that's my brother. He said, man, you a walking billboard. We gotta get out on the streets. We gotta impact the people. We gotta touch the people.
That's good.
And I didn't still me. I'm like, nah, I'm a celebrity. You'll never catch me out standing on no corner
behind that rope. They look at me across the club, Jack.
Exactly. I'm like, I ain't getting out on the street, going up to somebody asking, can they buy my book or can they buy a movie that I should? But it was, I'm telling you, the first time I had ever did it, it was 2010, and it was Rivertown in front of, Rivertown parking lot, the movie theater, the Staples, Oxon Hill. And we went out there, and I had like a book bag full of, like, I ain't gonna call them low budget movies. They were pretty cool movies or whatever. But I had my movies, I had my book in my hand that I had wrote, and I remember the first sale I got in 2010. This lady, hey, you the guy from The Wire. What are you doing out here? So I had to, it was almost like, all right, you got to sell yourself.
Right, exactly.
So I'm like, yeah, I'm Tray Chaney from The Wire. This is my book I wrote. It's educational. It's uplifting for young people as well as adults. And I'm giving her the whole spiel. And I'm like, it's $15. And she pulled like a 20 out and gave me the money, and I autographed it. She walked off. Then somebody else came up that saw that. Like, hey man, you the dude from The Wire. And I'm like, yeah, giving them the whole spiel. And then that hustle shaped me into who I am actually today. Because it was like, okay, I ain't waiting for nobody to call my phone. I got bills. I got to figure out a way to get some money the legal way. and I'm, like I said, people know who I am. So let me bring them into my world and keep it real with them. Let them know, look, man, I'm creating my own content. This is what I'm doing. And the whole time, whether I realized it or not, I was building a fan base.
Yeah.
I was building a fan base from 2010, I want to say to 2015, 5 years straight, just in city to city. Because it wasn't just DC. After a while, we started, we like, oh, all right, we're gonna go to New York and do it. Let's stand in Times Square. Did the same thing. Let's go to Atlanta. Let's do that. You know what I'm saying? And then Bounce TV calls, in 2015, Saints and Sinners. And George Pierre literally said he heard, the casting director, George Pierre, that cast it for Saints and Sinners. Man, I heard what you're doing out there in DC, man, like creating your own, you getting it on the street out there the right way, the legal way, man. You got a book out, man. I think I got a role for you for this television show on Bounce. It's already shooting the first season. We want to introduce you in the season finale of the first season. That ends up turning into 6 seasons.
Wow. And not even just that,
Yeah.
but working on that role with iconic actors where,
Yeah.
you know, whose children, you know, whose son were you? I mean, we got
so
that in there.
So I play Kendrick Murphy, and I'm the son of legendary actor Clifton Powell and legendary actress Vanessa Bell Calloway, Rex Fisher, and Lady Ellen. So, mind you, when George sends me the script, I don't know who Rex is. I don't know who Lady Ellen is.
Wow, I didn't know that.
So so he said, yeah, it's called Saints and Sinners, man. Again, you only gonna be in the season finale of the first season. You know, they just, we picked you to do it. I was offered the role. I didn't even have to audition.
You had to audition, so things shifted a little bit.
So yeah, a little shift, you know, and I'm like, they give me the script. I get the script, memorize the script. When I get on set, it's a scene of me getting out of jail or being in jail. And I see my father for the first time. And when I get on set, Clifton Powell is there in a jail uniform. And they like, yeah, he gonna be playing your dad. And I already knew Clifton from some of the street films that I did back in DC the films that I was selling on the streets.
Clifton Powell, DMV.
Clifton Powell, DMV, Southeast.
Yeah, right.
You know, legendary actor. And Cliff was like, Tray, like, because we already knew each other. He like, man, you playing my son? He like, all right, yeah, this is gonna be, you know, and then we finished that episode. It was the season finale. Man, next thing you know, man, when Bounce TV premiered Saints and Sinners, man, they like, okay, we picked up for a second season. I'm still living in DMV. Me, my wife, my son, my daughter, and Bounce TV, Swirl Films in Bounce. They said, for second season, we want to make you a regular. They flew me to Atlanta. They had me living at the 12. In
I remember
2016. I had to shoot 8 episodes. I was out in Atlanta for 3 months straight. So I'm like, that was another experience as an actor that I've never had with somebody, well, other than Bow Wow. When I was in a Bow Wow video, they flew me to LA. I shot the video and left. But on a television show, they fly me out, they put me up, per diem, nice check. And I'm like, oh, okay. Then I meet Vanessa Bell Calloway. Then I meet Christian Keys, Keith Robinson. And then, you know, Jasmine Burke. Then I start meeting, you know, other people that's from, and then the crazy part is Bodie, J.D. Williams.
Yeah.
Our history on the wire. You know, and he plays Jabari, I play Kendrick. You know, so it was just like man, it was like everything that I put into this business, you know, regardless on even some of the darkest days, I never gave up. I kept pushing, I kept going, and then it leads to that.
And let me ask you this, because with that second opportunity, now you got the opportunity. Now it's supposed to be maybe one thing, it goes to the next, you know, season, and now a season's going. How are you approaching it at that moment? Well, now, because you've already been through the Wire thing where you like, hey, this is like everything changes from here, and then it was like, hold up, right? Like it didn't. Like how do you treat that? Do you treat the same? Or you treat it different in the back of your mind?
Well, in the back of my mind with this now, because of everything that I went through after the Wire ended, to, you know, the hustle just stepped up even more. Now it's like, okay, I'm still going to create my own, even at a bigger level. You know, not necessarily being in the streets. I don't got to be in the street no more. But at the same time, you know, this internet era, this age of Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, having my own website, you know, with merch. Like now, the website is me being on the street. It's like, okay, I can shoot this out there to all my fan base, people that supported me through the years. Now they on the gram with me. Now they on Facebook with me. Now I can say, click this button, go grab my merch, you know? So I had to step it up to that level. And then even just taking all of my experiences being in the business, the most important thing, forming and building the right relationships. So with Saints and Sinners, I'm in Atlanta. I'm where everything happens in television, film, music, and I'm on a popular show. So now, I'm getting up. We going to the events. We going to hit these red carpets because I know I'm gonna meet such and such, such and such. So now, you know, the phone numbers are adding up to, okay, I got these many people on my phone. This is what they do. I'm gonna connect with them, even if it's checking in with them, like, hey, man, how the family doing? How the kids doing? Let's go have lunch. Let's go do, just to build. So with Saints and Sinners, that allowed me, and we only talking about second season. I was on it all 6 seasons, but that second season, living out in Atlanta, I'm like, okay, yeah, it's time to build this thing up. So it was a different level of hustle and grind, a different approach.
That's good. And I love it, right? Because a lot of people in that span between it. Because how many years was that again? Between the end of the wire and
7.
7 years.
7 straight. And let me, during that 7-year period, I did do Streets with Meek Mill. That was my first time having a movie on BET.
Yeah,
we did that. We did Jamesy Boy, that premiered in theaters, and it was on Netflix with Mary Louise Parker, James Woods, Ving Rhames, and I started focusing on my music, and that's where you came in, and we started doing.
We ain't get there yet, Trey. We ain't get there yet. We ain't get mad. People like, they ain't pay for this. We ain't get there yet. We going in the same.
Yeah. So, but no, that's when I started just saying, okay, during this time, I'm gonna tap into all my talents. We're gonna tap into music, we're gonna tap into creating our own films, producing, putting like knowing that I'm a producer by putting budgets together, and this person is valuable for this. He can call this person and get us. I was booking Clifton Powell before I was on Saints and Sinners with him.
Yeah.
And that's why the respect that me and him have is where it's at. If it wasn't for Clifton Powell, I wouldn't have an agent today.
Yeah.
I didn't have an agent all the way up into Saints and Sinners. And then he like, man, who's your agent? And I'm like, I don't have one. He like, wait a minute, you don't have an agent? I'm like, nah. Second, third season, I watched Clifton Powell make one phone call. And Jay Purvis Talent Agency, that's my agent right now.
Wow.
Same agent as him.
Relationships again.
Relationships. And just constantly checking in with people and not always approaching it always like business.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, we real people. We real men, real women, got families, kids, relatable things. You know what I'm saying? That we could just build on. And that turns into, hey man, I got this thing going on, like with Big Daddy Kane. That's my OG to this day. I met him when I was 8 years old, but we fast forward 20, 30 years later, he's like, oh, I'm a fan of yours from The Wire. But I'm like, look at this picture. This was me. He like, wait a minute, and relationships. He was the first person in 2015. I want you to go on tour with me. I want you to spot date on tours. From there, we open it for everybody. Snoop Dogg, Rakim, Slick Rick. You know what I'm saying? I mean, any big artist you could think of, if it wasn't for Kane putting me in that situation, off of relationships, I understand the power of relationships. I do understand that.
That's good. So let's talk about relationships.
Yeah.
Because in that gap, between the gap of after The Wire and before Saints and Sinners, when we ran into each other when we met.
Yeah.
And I think we met through Micheline. Shout out to Micheline.
Micheline Bowman, yeah.
Right. I'm talking. I feel like every 4 or 5 episodes, I mean, like Micheline get caught in the mix somewhere, right?
She in the mix.
She always in the mix somehow. So, I ran the IT department at a TV station. We got a TV, we got a web show that we doing, I think. You came in for an interview for that, I think.
Yeah.
But afterwards, right, what struck me there was that you was a good dude. Mm-hmm. Like my radar always up for good people, right? Because most people necessarily not good, but they just like in the margins, right? Right. So when I meet somebody I feel like is a good person, I'm just like, that's different. And it's a little refreshing. Mm-hmm. And, I remember we started to build a relationship. I think you probably came to the house one time.
Yeah, I did.
This stuff was for Black and Married.
Oh,
because we were starting to shoot things. But what was wild is I remember you hitting me up and saying, I want you to shoot this video.
Yeah.
And I've been doing, before that, let me backtrack. Before that, I reached out to you and Aisha about being in our first film, Happily Ever After.
Yeah.
Because y'all did the Happily Ever After joint.
Yeah.
So y'all did that.
Shout out to my wife, man.
Right? Yep.
Aisha
Shout out to
Chaney,
Chaney,
man. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So y'all did Happily Ever After, right? Told your story in there, which is amazing. Mm-hmm. Our very first film. So we build a relationship, doing stuff, making it happen. And then the fatherhood video.
Yeah.
And actually, as I can remember, right, I'm going back through it, man. We've been through so much stuff together. I'm going back through it. I think what happened is we had did a movie around manhood. In the manhood movie, we did a movie called Men Ain't Boys. And I think I remember talking to you. We was at National Harbor and I was out there for something and you came out.
Yeah.
I think I was out there for the conference and you came out because I remember you came out to the conference.
I remember it like it was yesterday.
And we were talking.
Yeah.
And I think you were saying, I don't even know if Father was made yet, but I think you were saying you could make it or something.
No, I'm gonna tell you the story. This was the story. This is what you did.
You're younger than me, man. You got I be forgetting stuff.
This is what you did. No, you got it. You was at the National Harbor. Of course, we had already had our relationship built.
Exactly.
But you at the harbor, I come to the hotel. I'm like, yeah, bro, I'm gonna pull up for you. You know what I'm saying? And you like, man, you should really consider, like I know you do music, but you should consider speaking on fatherhood. And you got Malachi, you got Martina, you got your family, you a family-oriented dude. And when you said that, something just clicked in my head. And I was like, yeah, I'm a hip-hop artist that's not like what people are used to seeing.
Exactly.
Meaning a lot of people in hip-hop, a lot of adults, they like, man, it's too negative. We need positivity in hip-hop. We need somebody that's really talking about something and can rap and can entertain. So I'm like, I have all of those qualities when it comes to music. And I'm gonna tell you, man, if it wasn't for you, Lamar, sparking that idea on my real life, because fatherhood, when I wrote that, and shout out to Don Cox that produced it.
Yeah. When
I wrote fatherhood, that's my real life.
And going back, that's what I actually remember now.
Yeah.
It was like, it would be too easy for you. You was on the wire. It'd be too easy for you to go the way.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you sound just like everybody else.
Right.
And I remember I was like, man, there is another lane over here.
Yeah.
Where you can step into that lane and dominate.
You said there's another lane, and not even really being all the way clear on what that lane was going to be. But It's like, look, it's another lane for positivity. Like, but fatherhood, you kept stressing that. And you was like, I'm telling you, man, like, you do a record on this joint. And I think fatherhood was supposed to be for the Men Ain't Boys. It was supposed to be
we someone doing it together, because that's what I was like, hey, we do the movie, we could tour, you go into places, you do the song, I saw the movie.
And then when I wrote the song, I sent it to you and you like, yeah, this is it. And I'm like, well, you can shoot the video. And by that time, y'all was living in ATL.
Yeah, but this is what most cats want. This is what I want people listening to get, right?
Okay.
Number one, right? Because you might be listening saying, well, I'm not a musician, I'm not an entertainer, I'm not an actor. But what you did at that moment is you niched down. And you said, it's a big pool of people doing this one thing, but I'm going into a lane over here where I'm gonna be a part of your one, and I can create my own lane and my own thing and my own audience. But then the second thing is when we said, okay, we're gonna do it and do the video, man, like people always waiting for something.
I know.
And we wasn't waiting though.
Wasn't waiting.
So I remember you said that, man. Like I'll never forget, I went to, we had just moved down to Atlanta, but like the month before, new thing was coming. I went to Best Buy on 301 in Waldorf, Maryland.
And bought
a $699 Canon T3i camera.
Yeah.
It was like, let's get to it. Came to the house, painted the wall in the garage.
You know what? But before you continue, this is another thing. You took that initiative step, but I took the step of saying, you in Atlanta, that's 10 hours from DC. Me, my son, Torrance, and my father, we're going to drive. We're going to drive from DC to Atlanta. You got the equipment. I'm coming to shoot the video.
I'll be there.
I'll be there in 12 hours. We came out this joint, man. We got a hotel, and I'll never forget, that was the first time I had ever experienced Atlantic Station. That was what, in 2012, 2011? And that moment in that video was just, it was so heartfelt and so real. And that's when I started understanding, even as an artist today, when I write, I'm writing from a real place. Even if I'm at the club or whatever, I'm writing from a place of, hey, this is really what I've experienced. But Fatherhood was the first song that people could look at me and say, oh yeah, that's what you saying. Oh, but no, I'm gonna put my dad in the video. I'm gonna put my son in the video. I'm putting my real life family in this joint.
What's wild about that joint, I remember we shot like 85% of that joint is in the garage.
Yeah.
Like 2 different backgrounds on the wall.
The green
right?
screen.
It's like one shot at my kitchen table, one shot of Malachi brushing his teeth at the sink, which I seen that joint earlier this year, and I was like, look how young this guy looks.
Man.
Right?
Wow.
But then going to Atlantic Station, but the other thing is wild about that trip to Atlantic Station, that's the first time I realized you're a celebrity.
Yeah.
Because don't forget, like every time I had been interacting with you before was at my job, at my house, at y'all's house.
It was never out.
That was our first time in public, and we're out. Now this is, what year was this? It had to be like 2010.
Yeah, 2010, 2011, yeah.
Yeah, this is actually many boys. This is actually like this is 2011, like you said. This is 2011.
Yeah.
So 2011, The Wire ends in when? 2008?
2008.
2008. This 2011, as we walking through Atlantic Station, I'm seeing like the double take, and I don't get double takes when I'm out. I don't know what this is, Trey.
Right.
So I'm seeing double takes.
Yeah.
I'm seeing people tapping each other on the shoulder. I'm seeing people coming up, and I'm like, wow.
Yeah, man.
Like this is years later, right?
Years later.
Did you like what you just heard? Well, let me tell you about this real quick. We want to expose you to something that's amazing, and that is the TSP Mastermind. If you are a business owner that's trying to reach your next 6, 7, or 8 figures in business, and you're looking for a community of like-minded, purpose-driven, and ethical entrepreneurs, then guess what? You're in the right spot. We have a 12-month program with one-on-one coaching, accountability, trainings, events, and more in order to help you reach the next level in your business. For more information, visit www.trafficsalesandprofit.com. For an average person, that's wild.
Right.
But we get the video done, and I want to I still teach what we did to my clients nowadays, right?
Yeah.
I call it leveling up. So I took the video, put it on our blogs. I had friends that had blogs, and I shared it with them. And then once I shared it with them,
they shared it.
They shared it, right?
Yeah.
And then we got all of them together, and this is the beauty of teamwork. Because I keep saying, like, too many people trying to do it on their own.
Yeah, man.
So I got that piece going, but then what you had was online hustle and relationships. So then you take all of them links and you hitting everybody like, look at what they talking about.
And then I had my little street squad, Torrance and Deuce Double and my friend, and we was in the street sharing it. We was online, Twitter. That's when, oh man, Twitter and Facebook, we was going crazy on those sites.
So,
but go ahead.
Nah, so what I loved is that then we would then take the blog posts and then take those to the newspaper for the online and say, hey, Washington Post, right? I forgot the brother at Washington Post.
Yeah.
That was
our man too. I forgot his Yeah, I think it was Pierre.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
But like he would look
Chris
out
is over there now though.
And create something, right? New York Post.
Huffington Post,
right? Like all of them would do it. And then we would take all them links and go to the local TV stations and say, hey, look, local guy, celebrity getting all this buzz around the fatherhood. Man. Look at all the blogs and all the newspapers talking about it. Then we would take them and go to national. And so literally just like people always saying like, I got something great. Let me like try to get on Good Morning America. Nah. And you got something great. Like just get on social, get on the blog.
Just get on the blog.
And leverage that up to level up.
People still don't understand that level up with certain blogs. Like you still have to, like you said, if you got something great, if you got something you believe in, and something that people will be able to relate to, because so many fathers and mothers, they related to that video. They seen even the stuff we were saying in it, and but from taking it from those blogs to Washington Post, Huffington Post, to all of these different outlets, it leads to BET reaching out. So we created it from the ground up. It was nobody drove out here with us, Nobody was in your garage with us while we were shooting that. But we created something from the ground up. And for BET to reach out and say we're building, they didn't just have me on there. I was on there and they built a show around it.
106 in Park. 106 the number one show probably on BET at that time, which was a joint if you had music to get on. And again, built a show around it, right? Around that video and your message, which was big because if somebody younger listening, right, may not know, like I said, that was the video show of that time, right? Where people go home every day and tune in to see like what was happening in hip hop was on
a national level, man.
But they literally created a show around fatherhood where they stopped it, created a town hall, you know,
I
like
mean,
out of Teen Summer type back in the days.
And you know, I used to always, throughout the years when I was on The Wire, I used to see my cast members get called to make an appearance on 106 in Park. I never got called. And I used to be like, I wonder why wouldn't they ever call me for 106 in Park? Like what? I would see all of my cast members sitting on the couch. And I mean, I used to be like, well, I don't know. But for me to get on 106 in Park by myself though, and stand on my own and have my own video and premiere it, and they build a show around it, that just goes to show. It's like, you know what? Just be patient. Just wait. Because your time, and this for anybody that's out there that might feel overlooked, you know, not being seen. If you keep putting in the work and you keep grinding and hustling and you putting out something, like I said, that people can relate to, that time will come. I mean, it's no set number or months or years on it, but for me, it's always happened to me like that in my whole career.
And you know what I don't forget about that moment? There was only one other video they showed. They showed two videos that day around fatherhood. And the other video was a video from Interscope.
Interscope
And
Records.
that video had pyro, techniques, car crash, explosion. And I'm looking at that joint like, man, this joint look like $1 million video. And I said, we made it to this level with a $700 camera from Best Buy, a joint we shot in my garage, and half a day we spent between the suburbs and Atlantic Station.
And the mix on the song was only like $100.
Listen,
getting it mixed, and you know, like, I mean, but it just goes to show, man. Like you said, we understand what building something from the ground up really represents. And that's even to, like I said, to this day, that's what has shaped my career to this day. Like I still take something and say, okay, I'm gonna turn this into something, you know. And it's just that's just how it works.
So I want to talk real quick about what happened after that. So after the fatherhood joint take off, now you go on places, you getting calls to perform it. Right? Now people pulling you in. People got you speaking on fatherhood, right? You moving because you got a lane and you created it.
To this day.
But you know what's wild is I remember you came back to me and said, hey, the Maryland State Education Association. They want us to do a new joint. And they want to get it on 106 in Park. They want us to run it up the exact same way. I said, Trey, what it's about? What'd you tell me?
It's about reading. Young people reading 30 minutes a day.
Bruh, I'm gonna congratulate you on your faith. Cause I was like, this ain't gonna work. I said, fatherhood is a hot topic. We get that joint. I said, bro, we not making it on back on 106 in Park. About nobody reading no books. And I love books. But I said, people, that ain't gonna work. But we did that joint again.
But the idea of it, you know, we still hip hop. It's still hip hop. Hip hop is the biggest genre of music across the country, around the world. And we gonna do it in a way, again, where we engage people, whether that be kids, parents. And we're gonna shoot it at my old middle school. The middle school I went to, Andrew Jackson.
On Martin Luther King Day, it was a holiday.
It was a holiday.
They brought the kids
and they opened up the school for us, and it was packed with the kids. And then I called the Beat Your Feet Kings, who I still got a relationship with to this day. We still do shows. But that was another thing, man. We believed in it at the time, you know, 106 Park still on. Because my thing is, none of y'all's artists have a product like this. Like this is stuff, like half of the execs at these networks, at these companies, you got kids, right? So I'm explaining my work because I know it so well because it's mine. I'm explaining my work because I know it, but I know it's something you can't deny. Like even if you deny it, you can't deny that your kid probably gonna have to watch this in school one day. You know, and it's hip hop. But yeah, man, again, you know, radical readers.
And then what I love about that is that leads you doing more external work again. Because I see you speaking more. Then you doing multi-city school tours. Then you know, getting interviewed by the schools. And then all this stuff is creating more press. So you essentially create like your own total lane in rap. Where, like a few years ago, you didn't even see this thing, right? But it's a space where nothing is there, but you go into the space and you create money. Like so many times, you know, we looking for what's the easy path to get something, but sometimes you got to create the path.
Exactly. Yeah, I feel you on that. Yeah, and that's the path that was created. That was the path that was created. Man, looking, you got me going down memory lane. Even with Mike Bully, you know, we I mean, just you did Fatherhood Radical Readers, you did Mike Bully, you did Live World AIDS Anthem. We shot that right here in ATL at the AIDS Memorial the
Yeah, when they got
facility.
the AIDS quilt, yeah.
Yeah. You did Self-Made Star.
You know, that's my favorite. That's the joint I want to do.
Which that song got picked up in Jamesy Boy. That was one of my first placements in a movie, my song. But yeah, man, I mean, yeah.
So I see you still hustle now, just like you did then. You know what I'm saying? You say, I'm gonna take something, I'm gonna move it somewhere, I'm gonna get it, right? You did Unconventional Paths, where, like I said, you say, hey, like everybody's music going this way.
Yeah.
Even though I throw it out there, I throw a lot of stuff out to a lot of people. Most people don't take it. But you took that joint and went a whole different path that allows you to create a whole new career that was different.
To this day.
Like I said, and still be touring places, still be hitting places. You know, I never forget, like when I would go back and look at some of the videos and seeing like comments down it where they be like, this is the guy that performed at my school.
Yeah,
like,
man.
you know what I mean? This like Poot from The Wire.
Yeah.
In one world, but in another world, they know he's the guy that like rocked the performance at the school.
Yeah.
And the educators are thanking you and hugging you and bringing you in.
I know, man.
To, you know, starting the very first thing you do is the biggest show in the history of television, to having a dry spell but not giving up and then bouncing back.
Right.
And not just bouncing back with Saints and Sinners, but you got a new project.
Yeah.
We can talk. We can't talk about what you're doing in it.
Yeah.
But we can talk about the name. What's the name of that thing?
Well, I am announcing right here on Traffic Sales and Profit. I am going to be making an appearance on BMF season 2.
Nice.
January 2023. Shout out to Stars, Randy Huggins, 50 Cent. You know, the news broke, and you know, the internet went crazy when they seen all the pictures of me and Lil Meech. And one thing I can say, is headlines coming out that I manifested it. And the reason why they're saying Tray Chaney manifest his role on BMF season 2 is because, again, I had auditioned for first season at least 7 times. I never got cast for nothing in first season. 7 times straight. George Pierre, the casting director. Not one time did I get discouraged. I kept showing up, knowing my lines from top to bottom. Whatever the character was dressed like, I'm coming in there dressed like the character. I'm going to keep showing up until whatever is in my mind that I'm going to get this role until it comes to fruition. And I swear that's exactly how it came about. The great part about it is, of course, I've ran into 50 Cent plenty of times. Real cool brother, always, every time we see each other. George Pierre, he casted me for Saints and Sinners. But me earning the opportunity to get the role felt a lot better, other than just somebody saying, hey, I'm gonna just throw it to you because of who you are. No, I really want to go in there and I want to memorize 6-7 pages of dialogue and show you that I'm the man for the job. And that came about. 20 years later, last year, We Own This City.
Right.
Same creators from
HBO.
Same creators from The Wire. They called me 20 years later after playing Poot from 2008 to 2002 to 2008. I get a call in 2021. And they're like, Trey, we got this role for you. But again, I had to audition for We Own This City to play a cop, Police Officer Gordon Hall, which was it's a limited series on HBO Max, true story about the Baltimore Police Department Task Force. And man, just again, it was one of those moments where one day I'm chilling in the crib and I'm like, man, I got to audition for these different projects. And then I get that call no less than maybe a couple days after my 40th birthday last year. I was gone, living in Baltimore for 4 months, you know, shooting this show, you know, so it just goes to show, man, like you said, I don't believe in letting grass grow under my feet, you know, or getting stagnant or getting complacent or content. Nah, we gonna keep on, we gonna keep going. As long as I'm living and breathing, we gonna keep on hustling, man. We gonna keep grinding in a smart way. You know what I'm saying? And building these relationships and knocking these projects out.
I love it, man. You know, with this interview is reminding me of 3 words: relationship, hard work, and hustle.
Yeah.
So tell the people how they can follow you, Tray, where they get more information about you, your projects, what you got going on in the music.
Definitely.
You got new music too.
Yeah, man. I just dropped a new 10-song visual album. It's Chaney Vision Dreams Volume 1. Do Y'all Hear Me? That's the name of the project. All 10 songs, shot 10 videos to all 10 songs. It's available everywhere where you can buy music. It's available on ChaneyWay.com, which is my site, which is where the merch is available as well. And you definitely can follow me on Instagram. It's Tray Chaney Vision. Twitter at Tray Chaney, and then of course Facebook, Tray Poot Chaney, you know, because of the whole wire thing. Yeah, man. but yeah, man, I'm out here, man. I'm building, I'm networking, and you know, we putting out our own projects and really just, you know, giving the people good content. That's what it's about.
All right, so you heard it directly from the man himself. I want you to focus on the 3 things in your own business: relationship, hard works, and hustle. And don't forget, just like Tray told you, never give up. Keep moving towards the goal. Even if the goal don't get there when you think it should get there, the main thing is it will arrive one day as long as you don't stop. Thanks for listening to another episode of the Traffic Sales and Profit Show. Hey, do me a favor. If you enjoyed what you heard today, subscribe and follow us on this platform right now to make sure you do not miss a beat as we drop new episodes and additional content every single week. Also, if you'd like to get access to a free paperback copy of my book, access to the TSP Traffic Sales and Profit free Facebook group, our challenges, resources, our events, and more, make sure you visit us at www.trafficsalesandprofit.com/podcast.